The rest of Chapter 4 focuses on vendors and inventory and expenses. So I'm going to click on expenses. We'll chat just a little bit. Click on vendors, and if you scroll down, you can see all of the vendors that are part of this, that are vendors of this test drive company. You're going to add some vendors. You're going to do that by clicking New Vendor, and you fill in the information about those vendors and then just save it. It's pretty straightforward and easy to take care of. These colored bars here are important. If we click this orange one and see what we have overdue, we can take a look at and see which of these vendors. Insurance, so we owe for insurance, maybe some lumber, utilities, and then I'm not sure what this one is, but this utilities, we shouldn't have that one late, so we can take care of that one right away. We'll click Make Payment here, and it takes us to the bill payment screen, and we can bill pay with a card or a check. I'm going to change this to checking. Okay, and notice that since this is a bill payment, I don't have to fill in the check like we did when we were doing that before using that transaction register, because this is in payment of a bill. So in other words, the bill has been entered and now we're paying that at a later time. I want to show you what the check looks like. You're not going to have to print checks, but I'm going to click Print Check, and it goes to a screen that allows us to choose, is it going to be a voucher style check where we have a stub about or are we going to print multiple checks on each page? Let's view the preview here, and you can see that this is what it's going to look like. So you're going to have check blank paper that you can feed into your printer, and then this will print onto that check, and then it's going to have the stubs down below. And again, this is just a sample. And let's scroll on down, and you can say you're finished with setup. And normally you would pay multiple bills at a time, and so you can batch print multiple checks. We're going to go ahead and preview and print. Starting check number 1002, I believe, is where we're at. And so here we can see this PG&E check and the stub that it will print below, and then you would be able to click print. I'm going to click X and say yes, we're done, and close out of that. And so we can go back to expenses and see a list in order. Here's that PG&E check that we paid, showing where we paid that. Okay, and so now if we go back to vendors, this is going to reflect a different amount. Okay, now I talked about bill versus expense. Let's go right here on the plus, and you've got expense, check, and bill. So you can do a lot of things multiple different ways, but you need to understand when you might do one versus the other. Okay, so if you go buy a roll of stamps at the post office, you're likely going to print a check and take it with you. To do that, in that case, you're going to use the check option. If you take the company credit card to the post office to buy the roll of stamps, when you enter that, you're going to enter it as an expense, because you're not actually going to print a check, but you do need to enter it into your books. So these two work very similarly. They're when you incur and are going to pay for that expense or inventory at the time of purchase. The bill is when you're going to receive a bill, like maybe your utility bill once a month, but you don't pay it till the 15th when it's due, or whatever the due date is, and you enter that bill, and QuickBooks Online will keep track for you of when things are due. So we can see that we have $1,516 in open bills. 761 of those are overdue. $761 of those are overdue. So if we were trying to manage our cash flow, we would definitely want to pay those overdue or more important ones first. But we can, if we're going to pay all of our bills today, we can check all of these at one time, and then here batch actions, you can email those, or you can go make payment all at one time, and you can check off and then print all of those checks at one time. So QuickBooks Online helps you keep track of when things need to be paid and then helps you facilitate you getting those checks written. Okay, you can also look at what bills have already been paid, so you can click this green bar and it'll show you the bills that have already been paid. So Bob's Burger Joint, if we needed to create a new bill from them, it's also real easy right here to get to that. So this create bill is no different than clicking plus and enter bill or bill right here, except for when we click it next to Bob's Burger Joint, it's going to auto load Bob's Burger Joint in as the vendor. Okay, so one other thing that you're going to talk about N4 is your inventory. So I'm going to click the gear icon and then go to this product and services list, and you've got a list of items that your products and services that your company sells. You're going to add some of those, and you're going to do that just by clicking new, and you can choose whether those are inventory items, non-inventory, or service. We'll choose inventory item here. I'm just going to say test item. You can add a SKU number for that. You can even add an image, but what's important down here is that we enter what we want to say. The sales information is what's going to go on a sales receipt or an invoice when we sell it to a customer, some item, okay, and what we sell it for. I'm going to say we sell this for $10. Sales of product income, if this is an inventory item, that's most likely what it's going to be. And then your purchase information, it doesn't have to be, but often is the same description, but our cost, let's say it's a $4 item, and that expense account is cost of goods sold. And then we can save and close that. If that is an item that you always order from Books by Bessie, you can include that here, and that way when you're running a report to show inventory and where you might need to order, it will suggest that you order some item from Books by Bessie. Oh, forgot. Oh, initial inventory on hand, we're going to say 0 as of, we'll just use today's date, and we can tell it that anytime our inventory gets below 2, we want to reorder.